Hey friends, welcome back. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Courtney, and I have Phyrra and Nyx, my two standard poodles, sleeping in the room with me. So I asked you guys in Instagram stories whether you wanted me to do a product review next or a life update, and you guys chose life update, at least when I last looked before I started filming this video. Life update it is. So if you don't know, I just bought a new home and I did a home tour. So if you haven't seen that, I'll put a link to that video up here, but I'm sure many of you know that, and that's why you're here for this video. So I'm going to update you as to what has been going on with me. So last week was moving week. On Tuesday, it was moving day. And I did all kinds of planning because I wanted this move to go as smoothly as possible. My husband Ray was not taking off of work, and Dave has a limited amount of spoons to help me with things. He has a chronic illness, and for those of you who aren't familiar with spoon theory, basically that means he can only do so much before he's like done for the day and can't do anymore. So I had a lot of pressure on me, and luckily one of my best friends, Corinne, came over to help me with coordinating the move, which was great. So she showed up at my house at 9:45, and Dave and her and I were all ready to start preparing, like to tell the movers what gets packed up first and what's going to go where. And so we waited and waited, and at 10:15, the movers still weren't there. So I called them up and said, hey, I'm scheduled for movers to be here at 10 o'clock to move me, and there's nobody here. And they're like, we don't have you on the schedule. And I'm like, well, y'all charged my credit card. You know, you made me pay a deposit and you're not here, so you need to fix this. And they were like, okay. And the reason I had chosen this moving company because it was college hunks hauling junk, blah, blah, blah movers. I don't know if they're just local to Tampa or if they're like a nationwide chain, but my friends had used them to move into their house. So they had, said that they're reasonable, they're polite, they did a good job, they didn't break anything. And so I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and look at them. They gave me a really reasonable quote. I put a deposit down, and they're supposed to be there. So they finally had people show up at 12 o'clock to start work. So my schedule got pushed back by 2 hours from what it was supposed to be, but I was like, all right, it's not a problem. We can make this work. So they start packing up stuff. In Dave's room, I specifically tell them, do not touch his computer. Leave his tower alone. I personally am going to move that. You can pack up his clothes. You can pack up the rest of his computer equipment, all of that stuff, but don't touch that. And so, come to find out, they moved that, but they left some stuff that they were supposed to pack up. That was one problem. One of the other problems was that there's stuff like this throughout the entire thing. They were supposed to pack up my makeup room dead last because I didn't want anything in there to get really hot in the truck and melt. Well, they didn't do it dead last, even though they told me that they would. So anyway, I was stressed about that. But we get to the new house, start moving everything in. It's going pretty well, and then it starts raining. So that basically meant that they had to stop until it had stopped raining enough so that there was no hazard, safety hazard, which I totally understand. But then I had to leave for an emergency and let Dave continue to tell people where to put things, and that was a mistake because for whatever reason, Ray and Dave couldn't ever tell people where to put things where I want them, so I was very frustrated. So then by the time the movers were done and finished, I had just gotten back, and so I had to figure out how to move the big heavy things with Corinne's help because some things were in the wrong spot, and I was really pissed about it. But anyway, we made it through moving day. It was great. In our new home, got to spend the night in a new home. Slept pretty well, except for the fact that we didn't have curtains up in my master bedroom, and so that meant that I was up around the time the sun rose. If you know me, you'll know that I'm a night owl, so getting up when the sun rises is not my cup of tea. Oh, and that was another thing. On moving day, I had gotten up at 8:45, and I'd started doing last minute preparations around the house at 9 o'clock. And I was still up doing things and trying to help get things moved and unpacked and situated at 12:30 a.m. So I'd been doing it for more than 12 hours on Tuesday night. So I was really cranky. And then basically I spent all of last week on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, etc. going and unpacking to try and get things unpacked from this house. Some of the stuff that got left at the old house that wasn't supposed to get left, I had to go back and move just a Prius carload at a time, which was no fun, and pretty much it wore me out. I basically wasn't able to blog at all. I was able to, work on stuff for my clients, keep up with my work, and do stuff around the house because Ray didn't take off a single day of work to help me with moving, and Dave can really only do so much. He's he's very limited in what he can do. So it all fell on me. I was very, very grateful that my friend Corinne was able to help me a couple times. Ray's mom was able to help me a couple times, which is really nice. But for the most part, it was just me and the dogs. So eventually I got the curtains up, which was great. And the first time I finally sat down to try and actually load my laptop, because I was basically doing all of my work for work on my iPad, my laptop started having artifacting errors. And if you're not familiar with that, it's basically, at least for me, for my computer, I started having like these neon green and neon purple bars that were going up and up and up the screen. And so if I restarted it, then I wouldn't see the bars, but it wouldn't be able to load the browser. And so it would just kind of like hang forever. So then I would reboot it again and I get the artifacting. Like it kept doing this back and forth, back and forth. Finally, I realized, fuck, I'm gonna have to send my machine off to Falcon Northwest because it's a Falcon Northwest laptop. So I got on the phone with their tech support and said, hey, here's screenshots of exactly what I'm experiencing. Here's what I'm guessing it might be, but I'm not 100% sure. And they're like, yeah, well, you have, a 3-year warranty on this machine and it's not quite 2 years old yet. I've noticed with laptops, they seem to go at around 2 years. So I bought a 3-year warranty this time. So I talked with them at length. They gave me very specific instructions on how to mail it to them. And then I had to worry about backing up my machine before I mailed it out. And so I tried to back it up on my network drive, but for whatever reason, like I couldn't, it needed like a mail-to-mail cord, which I couldn't find. I didn't have. And I finally just said, screw this. And I had Ray buy me a backup external hard drive that I don't know where it's at the moment, but I backed everything up onto that drive so I could at least have everything safe that I needed. And then I went to the UPS store to mail it off. And the closest UPS store to me, the girl who worked there was probably the crankiest, most dour teenager I've ever seen. Maybe not teenager, maybe young adult, but she was super cranky and bitchy. She did not want to follow the instructions from Falcon Northwest on how to pack the machine. And she was very resentful that I asked her to. And I basically said, look, I need to watch you pack it and it needs to be done exactly the way they're asking because otherwise it voids my warranty. And so I had to have it packed exactly the way they said, and it had to be insured for $1,700 and like all of this stuff. And so basically I mailed it out after I spent, so basically to mail it out, I spent $350 to ship it off there. Then I find out from Falcon Northwest that they're running 7 to 10 days behind. So even though my laptop should get to them, I believe on Thursday this week, they're not gonna be able to look at it for almost 2 weeks. So I'm probably gonna be without my machine for about a month. This sucks because for me to do any blogging, I need my laptop. So while I can use my husband's Alienware or I can use one of Dave's Microsoft Surface laptop because I've used both of those machines in the past and I've got Photoshop and Adobe Premiere Pro CC installed on them, it's not my machine. I really, really fucking hate using somebody else's computer whenever I'm trying to get work done. It drives me up the fucking wall. So I am resigned to the fact that I should probably budget for building a desktop machine, even though I haven't had a desktop machine in years because it's when you have problems with a desktop, it's pretty much easier to diagnose and buy a new part and swap it out because that's something that I used to do all the time. And laptops are much more finicky and it's harder to take them apart. I used to be able to take them apart with Dave's help because he used to do computer repair, so he knew everything that he needed to do with them and he could guide me through it, but they just seem to be more and more difficult to do that, so I would rather just send them off to whoever made them to get them fixed. So anyway, we're gonna see how my laptop turns out. I'll keep you posted. I'm still gonna be vlogging and posting as much as I can now that I've finished moving and I've got most of my unpacking done, not all of it, but most. I still have a ton of clothes left to unpack. Oh, and I haven't touched my storage units at all. I really don't want to touch those. I put a ton of my husband's crap into storage and I don't want any of it in the new house. The only thing I really want out of my storage unit is my shoes and my clothes that I put into storage because I put about half of my clothes into storage and I realized I could probably give up most of the clothes, but I don't want to give up the shoes. I really want my shoes that are in storage. So I hired a trainer to help me with Nyx and Phyrra because I wanted to take their training to the next level. So I start with that trainer next week and I'm really excited about that because I feel like my dogs are pretty good dogs. Well, I feel like Phyrra is an excellent dog, but I feel like Nyx is a brat. And it's because sometimes she listens and sometimes she doesn't. So I want one-on-one training sessions to help me improve how I communicate with her. And the guy that I hired, he does all positive reinforcement training, which is what I believe in. You know, I'm not somebody who believes that you should hit a dog or anything like that. I believe in saying yes and using treats and any like pets, attention, basically any type of positive reinforcement to get the behavior you want. So I'm looking forward to that. If you follow me on Instagram stories, you'll see like some of the escapades of the dogs around the house and some of the things that I've done around the house. Like today I hung up a bunch of pictures around the house. Ray's mom gave me my favorite painting of hers from her house, which is like this picture of Hawaii, and there's like this palm tree and the waves crashing in the ocean, and it's just gorgeous. So I hung that in my formal dining room. I put up my favorite Jasmine Beckett Griffith pieces of art in my bedroom. My favorite piece by her is the, what is it? La Blanche Loup Garou, something like that. But basically it's like Snow White. It's like Werewolf Snow White. So that's my girl. I love her. That's my favorite one. So she's in my bed, hanging up on my side of the bed. And I have on the other side, on Ray's side of the bed, the like Alice in Wonderland kind of trippy looking girl with like the Cheshire Cat and a cupcake, which kind of reminds me of like an acid trip. It's really cool. I put my mermaid picture back in my bathroom, which I love. As shocking as this may sound, I haven't done any makeup shopping. I haven't kept up on makeup at all, which has been killing me. I haven't had time really for YouTube. I think I've watched like 2 or 3 YouTube videos at all recently, which has killed me. I watched a video by Coffee Break with DANI. I watched a video from Liv Loves Her Makeup. I watched a video from I've watched Angelica as well, who I love. So I've seen a couple from them, but that's it. And I saw a short one of the ones from Jen Loves Reviews. So like basically those are the 4 people I've seen recently, and that's it. So hopefully I will have time soon once I'm not, you know, working my fingers to the bone by myself unpacking an entire house. Let's see. Also, I received questions about who is Dave. So Ray is my husband. I've been with Ray since 1999, which is a long time, basically almost 20 years. We've been married for like 14 years. And Dave is my partner. I met Dave in 2006, and about 6 months later, he moved in with me and Ray, and he's been with us ever since. So we've been together for about 12 years, and I live with both of them. We're in a polyamorous relationship, and I'm very happy. They're very happy. If you are unfamiliar with polyamory, basically it means having many loves. So we are romantically involved. They are not romantically involved with each other, but they're basically like best friends. So they geek out and do a bunch of things together that I don't want to do, so I don't have to do those things with them. I don't like watching TV shows like Black Mirror or things with unreliable narrator usually, so they do those things together and I don't have to do it. It's great. We do a lot of things together, the 3 of us, and then I do a lot of things together with both of us individually, so me and Ray or me and Dave, and we're really happy. We're in what's known as a poly-fi relationship, polyfidelis, which means we're basically like a closed circuit. We don't really date outside the 3 of us, although I have in the past. I had a girlfriend for 5 years. If you're familiar with poly at all, that's where we are at. And if not, well, we're consenting adults and we love each other, and we've been very happy for a long time. And I would like to point out that, you know, I've been in a relationship with 2 men, one for 12 years, one for almost 20 years, which has lasted longer than some people's marriages. So I feel pretty happy. So I feel pretty good about that. So anyway, that's what's been going on with me. What's been going on with you? Please be sure to let me know in the comments below. If you like this video and want to see more like it, please give it a thumbs up and share. It really helps me out, so thank you very much. And if you haven't already, click on that little subscribe button down below, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.